Morning, everyone. Hope you're well. John here. Actually testing out my new selfie stick actually this morning. So, hope you're well. And happy Wednesday. So today's book review is all about Simon Sinek's Leaders Eat Last, which is a really interesting book actually. I found it really quite mind-provoking. So Simon Sinek is an award-winning author who did the Why book, the famous Why book, and I think we've all done that. Anyone who's in the business world, or anyone and if you haven't, you should really read that or get involved in that Why, because it really hits. You need to understand why we're doing what we're doing, which is a really it's the way we start. But Simon Sinek's Leaders book, I think he brings out a few real interesting parts. So it is what it says on the book. Leaders eat last. So it gets you thinking about, as a leader, do you eat last? Is it the people aren't worried about anyone being paid more. So let's say your boss, you're not worried about if he gets paid more. What you are worried about, and what you do look at, is what your boss will do for you at times of trouble. Really interesting point. The question to you guys today, and from what I took from it, is how much do you lead, and how much does your leader take for you? How many times has your leader taken one for the team? And personally, I feel like as though I've taken quite a bit for the team for the last 4 years. And this book, like I said, really did hit home that actually that's why I eat last, is because I try to be the best leader I can. I try to be the best. I'm trying to be the best leader I can. And like I said, there's a few outtakes for me today on it. Simon Sinek within this book talks about millennials. Really interesting subject, millennials. Really interesting subject, because he talks about the fact that they've changed. The era has changed. 25%, or there's a real firm starting point of millennials not willing to. They don't drink anymore. So people aren't drinking and going out and doing what they used to do. Games and video games and telephones have taken over in the new world. But what he talks about is the best leaders will adapt to those changes. The best leaders, the new millennial kids nowadays, they care more. They want it there and then. They want instant satisfaction. And what we've got to do as a nation, as a world, really, is adapt to those millennials, because it is a changing nation. And what we do is we still manage to a point how we used to. So adapting is really crucial. So a good leader will adapt to that new situation. And he talks about that all through his book. And it's a really interesting outlook on. I just think Simon Sinek's outlook is it's very individual, but actually it's very universal. Because there's no way that you can deny it. He backs it up all the way through the book with facts, figures. He's a very intelligent guy. And I think the book is really interesting. But there were three major outtakes that I took, or the one major outtake I took is people versus profit. Leaders, the good leaders won't sacrifice their people over profit. The sensible ones will adapt and make sure that they know the numbers and understand the bottom line, but they won't let people go, because people are the most important part of your business. And he's really passionate and works very hard and comes through that. How many times have you chosen? And I know I have. I've chosen in the past people over profit, or people over survival, different, and actually did I ever go back and try and make it work on a bigger scale? No, I didn't. And could I have? Well, potentially I could have done. And will I going forward? Well, yes. If you know your numbers and your team are behind you, then they're behind you. They'll work with you. And that's a really interesting part of what that book brings out. And like I said, I thought it was a great read. If you get a chance to read it, put it on your audio and read it. It's a really good Wednesday book. Have a listen to it. It's a really, if you haven't already, get it on. Leaders eat last. Do you eat last? That's the question. And also, if you don't eat last, does your boss eat last? Will he always take one, or will she always take one for the team? And if the answer is no, then maybe being led by the wrong person. Maybe you need to find a better leader. That's my 5 minutes done. Tomorrow, I'm back on the Sporting Heroes. That's my Wednesday review. Have a great day and crack on.